You're supposed to explode into a million pieces!
Why would I do that?
Because
War never changes.
Greetings, fellow mortals. Just a reminder saying it's just my opinion is for cowards. I have sort of a weird attitude on the Fallout series as a whole. It was never really a franchise that I took all that seriously, mostly because I started with number 4 and worked my way backwards. So the game started out as a fun roller coaster where I could do basically whatever I wanted and mess around and not really care about anything. The writing wasn't that good, but that didn't matter to me when I first played it because Fallout 4 openly told me that the story didn't really matter from the very beginning. This was a game to goof around with. Now, normally this is a bad thing for me. I love storytelling, but Fallout was a water cooler story like with Tears of the Kingdom. You don't play it for the overarching narrative. You play it to talk to your friends about the weird stuff that happened to you. But compared to 4, I have a very different experience with New Vegas and 3, which took their stories a little bit more seriously, with New Vegas taking choices to a new level, and then I went to the OG games, which had way more phenomenal writing than I could have expected. It was kind of a whiplash starting from 4 and ending with number 1, and never touching 76. I don't care how good the Fallout show was. I am never touching 76 unless someone buys it and pays me to play it for them. I don't care if it's fun with friends. I'll play Call of Duty or Halo if I want a shooter with friends.
And that's all I have to say about that.
This journey left me in a weird state of not knowing exactly what Fallout was supposed to be. It was a wacky, not-so-serious roller coaster, and also, on the other hand, a great look into the psychology behind a nuclear apocalypse, with amazing lore and world building. But after seeing the dreck that was 76, I realized that the lore was dead long before I jumped on the ride. People holding on to 1, 2, and New Vegas have to realize that Bethesda and Todd Howard's vision of Fallout is the future. It's okay not to like it. It's okay not to consume it. But complaining about it feels like complaining that Abraham Lincoln was assassinated after learning about his history. Dude was awesome, but he's been gone a long time. With all of this in mind, I very much enjoyed the Fallout show, but only because I went into it with 2 revelations. 1, lore between installments is dead when it comes to Fallout. While internally consistent within each entry, they are not very consistent between the games. It's kind of better just to view each game and entry as a parallel world, kind of like Final Fantasy. Or also maybe American Horror Story, that'd be a good example too. And 2, many of the characters are very stupid, not in a negative way. Their stats are just in the wrong place. They make decisions that stupid people would make, and knowing that makes the journey a lot more fun.
As a devil hunter, I say no!
If you go into the show with these 2 things in mind, you will enjoy Fallout. Ignore the greater lore, focus on the smaller terms and factions, which all change a little bit with each installment anyway. It's not consistent at all. And if you wonder if someone is stupid, realize that they actually just are dumb. And then Fallout becomes a fun, wild roller coaster with nice internal consistency for its own story. However, I can see opinions on Lucy, Maximus, and Cooper differing based on taste. I can see the thought process and logic behind how each of them developed into who they are, meaning that I very much liked how they were written. I wouldn't call any of them my favorite characters ever, but I did enjoy them. If I had one real criticism with the show, it would be that the premise of needing to find someone is kind of overdone in Fallout. I don't think that Todd Howard can come up with any other type of story for this franchise. You need to find a family member or someone who wronged you. At least it's not a MacGuffin, I'll give him that. But the repeat can vary between hilarious to irritating depending on how you view it. Oh, and if you're a stickler for lore, you will not like the ending at all. If you want Fallout to be like it used to be, then the ending of this takes a big old dump on that and you will be pissed.
You should have gone for the head.
There are a lot of things to praise. I love the music. It's one of the best parts of the Fallout games, and they used it in the show very well. I thought the sets did a fantastic job of world building for this iteration of the Fallout world. Performances were really great, with special love going to Jinx from Arcane and Shane from The Shield. Don't know Maximus from anything else, but he's a guy to keep an eye on. And one thing that I have to praise above all else is the consistent tone. They managed to strike the odd combination of dark and overly cheerful that makes Fallout so fun, where they hide how depressing the vaults are with decorations and projectors, where dark sexual jokes get dropped without anyone blinking about how messed up it is, where quasi-religious groups brand people as servants. Not gonna lie, I'm surprised they got away with that. Where upbeat 50s music plays as people desperately try to shove their own intestines back into their bodies. It's fantastically dark. I love it.
That was totally wicked!
It's not perfect. There's a few times where characters make decisions where I don't know if that's really consistent with who they are. For Bethesda Fallout, this is a good adaptation with real heart in it. Everyone involved took this project seriously, and shocker above all, it led to more sales of Fallout games, just like with Arcane, Edge Runners, and the Sonic movies. Respect the source material, make money. This isn't the underwear gnomes. There isn't a mystery middle step. It is not that hard. And my favorite part of this is that the Fallout show is so ethically disturbing that the usual subjects aren't going on and on about woke and unwoke. Ugh. It's just well written with a diverse cast of characters going about their broken world. And I love that so much. But I suppose the well-written aspect could be subjective here. There are 3 types of people I can see not liking this show. Moral busybodies, people who hate anything having to do with video games, and sticklers for the lore. And I get that last one. If you played Fallout 1 and 2 first, you'd be very much disappointed by where they went with the vaults, the Brotherhood of Steel, the ghouls, and the super mutants. Same thing with New Vegas. Fallout has become a stagnant world where personal stories play out and then small details of the world change with each installment. I could name 3 retcons from Fallout 4 to the show off the top of my head. And if that's a deal breaker for you because you have a problem with Todd Howard, then, well, I'm not gonna argue with you.
He can't keep getting away with it! He won't.
Would I preferred if Fallout had consistent lore? Yes, of course, but I know what this is now. It's the theme park now. It's a fun experience where there's a lot of highs. You don't remember a whole lot of the small details, and the waiting in line parts just suck. But you're high on cotton candy, there's fireworks shows going on all around you, and you really want to go again after you recharge. That's what Fallout is now and will be in the future. Sorry if that's not what you want. If only there was a book set in a sci-fi apocalypse, which will have other stories set in the same world and time period, which give lore nuts exactly what they want. If only I could think of a brilliant author who would be willing to give that to you. Anyway, I view each installment of Fallout as Final Fantasy, meaning each number is set in a basically different world with very similar terms and creatures. That's the way to enjoy Fallout now. And if you don't like that, that is allowed. Unfortunately, they're not making Fallout for you anymore. It sucks, I get it. You're either gonna need to enjoy this version of Fallout or just move on to a new Apocalypse series because it's not going to change, and we all know it. Thankfully, there are other options. You're welcome to disagree with me. That's fine. After all, everyone is entitled to their objectively wrong opinion.
Stop! He's already dead!
And hey, do you like stories about an interconnected world? Then consider giving my LP books a try. They are all connected in some way, but you can jump in at any point, unless it's a series. Then you have to start at the beginning. But I got 3 books out right now and 3 coming next year. You will not have to wait long for content. Either way, thank you. I appreciate you. Do not despair.